my screen?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to use a wonderful online propagation tool that generates strategy maps in real time for a specific location, for a particular station with certain antennas, basically tailored propagation prediction. You go to vocap.com/HF, that's the ham radio link. They provide different propagation scenarios for marine, for aviation. We don't care about any of those. So step number one is, Ken, what is your grid?
Yeah. So it's FN42IO.
Okay. So basically this says this is where the transmitter is, and all the propagation is going to be based on that location. And by the way, everyone, this is meant to be a highly interactive effort. So if you want to slow me down, if you have any questions, by all means, please do so. All right, so step number one, we're going to set the program. We're going to have it use dynamic sunspot numbers because the propagation changes. So you want to see the updated data when you run the same propagation prediction uh, a week from now, just in time for the contest. The other important setting is the overall noise level of the location. Ken, how would you describe your station?
So
Can you see what I have here?
yeah, I would say it borders on industrial.
Really? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a strip mall behind me that's a mess. So
Okay. All right. So that's really what's important at this point. Basically, we're going to have it organize the predictions by a CQ zone. Even though there are a bunch of settings here that defined the other end of the path, uh, we're going to leave it like this for now. Oh, and for the takeoff angle, we're going to use monthly predictions, monthly historical tables as opposed to yearly.
that
So the next,
so
er,
so actually for me, my tri-bender is currently on sawhorses in the middle of my yard. So
we'll
I'm
we'll
going to be
get
relegated to verticals and high dipoles.
we'll get to it in just a second.
All right.
Are you going to be running 1500 watts or something else?
No, just low power, 100 watts.
Low power?
Yep.
All right. Okay. And then we're going to do what you started discussing. What is your antenna? So we'll do band by band. Obviously, we're only going to focus on the cotton testing bands. We're not going to bother with the work bands. So what do you have on 10?
So for this contest, it will be a vertical.
Okay, so we're going to have a vertical, good ground, poor ground.
It's a 5/8, actually a 5/8 wave ground plane.
All right, good. What do you have on 15? Same?
Same, yeah,
And same on 20?
same on 20.
What do you have on 40?
By 40, I've got a dipole at 50 feet, oriented towards Europe.
Dipole at 50 feet. Look at this. They have your exact antenna. And what do you have on 80?
So 80, I guess actually you'd call it a vertical. It's a vertical dipole. Yeah, there we go. It actually has a category for it, vertical dipole. It's the K2KQ vertical
There
dipole.
we go. So this has been designed exactly for your station, the program. So this is all the additional setup we're going to do. Now, if you want, you can adjust for what the average receiver would look like. I think we're speculating. I think what they have as a baseline is kind of reasonable.
Yep.
So let me move this. And we are going to go. Where the heck is the planner? Here's the planner. So we clicked on the planner, and the planner produces this page, which basically is a table of contents for the detailed predictions. So let's start with 10 meters. And this is what the prediction looks like. I will first scroll. Let me move this window. First, I will scroll to the very bottom so that you can see the legend for the different colors. Basically, the colder the color, the less likely it is for you to work that particular zone. And conversely, the higher The warmer the color, the higher the probability of making a QSO with that part of the world. So as I scroll up and down, and I do encourage you to do this offline at your own pace, it looks like for you, Ken, it's going to be mostly the US and Europe, and there's some exotic here locations as well. But there are vast parts of the world where you have a very low chance of making a QSO.
Hmm.
Not good.
No.
So again, we'll go back to the planner and let's see what your 15 looks like. I would imagine it will be better.
Okay, I think you hit the wrong button. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So 15 does look better. Look at this. You actually have quite a lot of openings to not only North America, but also South America, Europe, of course, as well. And little bit of Africa, actually quite a lot of Africa. So 15 looks better for you. And
Yeah.
again, I'm simply scrolling up and down, don't mean to be doing a deep dive for each and every band, but the idea is for you to be able to focus and figure out how you can plan your operating. So you have the hour of the day here, and here you have the different zones.
Yep.
Any questions, by the way, so far? Look at 20. Oh my God, you can just stay on 20 and not go anywhere.
Yeah.
You have a pretty much all day openings to zone 4 and 5. Basically, North America is going to be workable most of the time. Europe is going to be, oh, actually a lot of blue. I did not expect that Europe is not going to be that great. But again, scrolling down to the higher zones, you're going to have plenty of good openings to Africa.
How far in advance, Rudy, would you be doing this type of analysis?
So what I do is I would plan maybe a week ahead of time just to have a general sense of how to plan my time. And obviously, you want to run it in the last minute, maybe Thursday, just to make sure that things have not changed dramatically. I've also developed my own tool. I can share a link to it that uses real-time spot data from my skimmer to provide a real-time view of what the world looks like. But I feel that for this audience here, YCCC, my skimmer being about 200 miles to the west might not be the best data source.
Rudy, for the RIDI contest next weekend, what mode do you put into this? Do you put FT8 or?
Good question. They don't have really. I definitely would not use FT8 or FT4.
Okay.
I'll probably use CW.
Really?
CW, well, yeah, I mean, think about it. CW is a narrow bandwidth mode, not as
That's true.
narrow as FT4 and FT8. So its um, copying capabilities, in my mind, are somewhat similar than CW. Obviously, a little bit better because you have two tones that are being sent as opposed to one, and you have the computer decoding as opposed to the ear. But I definitely would not go as far as FT4 or 8.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So then,
Where are you picking the bands?
so you click on the planner.
Right?
You see this?
Yeah.
And this brings up the table of contents.
Where's that? Well, hang on. Where is it? I'm not
Oh,
seeing
you guys are not seeing it?
No.
No.
It comes as a pop-up window, so I think
Oh, shoot.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
let me see how to do this. No wonder you have no idea what I'm talking about. Do you see it now?
Hang on. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been clicking on this table of contents. Let me do it
Okay.
again. So when you click on planner here at the bottom, it opens up the table of contents. Do you see the table of contents?
Yes.
Okay, so we did 10, we did 15, we did 20. Now we're going to look at 40. Do you see 40?
Yep.
Okay, so did you see any of the predictions before?
Yes,
Yeah.
we were seeing the predictions. Yes.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So again, you can interpret the colors. The warmer the color, the better. On 40, no surprise, you're going to have plenty of things to do during the first 12, 13 hours between zone 1 and Europe. Tons of stations to work, and of course, a little bit of Africa. I guess EA8 is always a usual suspect, but I see some other interesting openings as well.
Hmm.
So we'll go back to the table of contents. And we're going to do 80. Before you ask me, there is no prediction for 160.
Yeah.
Obvious reasons. It's such an unpredictable band that there is no model for 160. Ken, it sucks.
Yeah, that's not looking good.
I don't know. If I were you, I would pick maybe a single band and just spend my entire time on 20 and actually have fun.
Yeah, that's a
So,
little disappointing.
what's that?
That's a little disappointing. Not doing too well into Europe there.
No. But I mean, let's try another station. Somebody else wants to give me 1500
I'll
watt
give it a shot.
and better antennas.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. What do you have on 10?
3 elements on 10, 15, and 20. Technically 4 elements on 10 and 3 on 15 and 20.
All right. So we'll keep it simple. We'll call it 3 elements at what height?
50 feet.
All right. 50, 3 element at 50. Remember, we're talking about predictions, so precision doesn't really matter that much. It's more of a directional thing, how to plan. Where did the 3 element go? And what do you have?
2 elements on 40 at 60 feet. 66, I guess they have there.
2 elements. And what do you have on 80?
Inverted L.
All right, there is no such a thing as
Yeah,
inverted.
it's a ground plane.
How's the ground?
Yeah. Call it good.
Okay. I was going to ask something else.
Power.
We changed the power, we changed the mode. Was it something else I was going to ask you here? No. Okay, so we're good. So again, we go to planner. It's going to show it. I'm sorry.
You changed the industrial.
Oh, right. That's what I wanted to ask you. Yes. So how's your noise level?
Oh, it's high.
Well, but what do we call it?
I will try. It is noisy. I can't say it's not. I'll stick noisy.
Okay, all right. So all good?
Yeah.
So we click on planner. We'll get the table of contents. And again, we'll do the same. So start with 10. I think the better antennas and more power certainly make a difference. Doesn't necessarily open up entirely new parts of the world, but look at it. It's all warm colors. You're going to have a blast on 10.
Hmm.
So let's take a look at 15. Again, the better antennas, more power certainly make a difference. You can actually keep yourself busy during the second half of the day on 15 and 10. And just for kicks, I'll skip the other bands for a second and we'll go to 80 and 40. And as suspected, during the first half of the day, you can be very productive on 80. And 40 probably is going to be open pretty much all day for you. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at this. You know, we were talking about multi-op. I think this is a good reason to invite Ken to operate from your station and you guys share the fun.
Set you up remote.
Yeah, why not? So yeah, it's not rocket science. Anybody can do it. And that's really the purpose of this show and tell. I do want to encourage everybody to give it a shot. I mentioned that I am doing something for myself. Can you see this?
Yep.
So basically what this shows is it takes data in real time from my skimmer and organizes it by zone and by band. I have deliberately separated the work bands. So again, the warmer the color, the more open the band is, meaning higher SNR, and the circles, the more filled they are, the more stations there are on the band. Again, I'll be happy to share the link, but I think if you're on the East Coast, if you're in New Hampshire, Maine, probably 200 miles to the west is a little bit too further away. The data is based only on FT spots, and the reason this is the case is because FT is pretty much 24/7, unlike CW and other modes. So I can be a lot more confident that if any of these cells here is shaded and filled, there is sufficient amount of stations to give me that information. Whereas if this was CW, most of the table is going to be blank, not because there is no opening, but because nobody's on CW. So there you have it, guys. Again, I very much encourage everybody to invest 5-10 minutes to generate these propagation maps. I'll send links after this session to where to go. And study them. It will really help you plan your time, particularly if you have other commitments during the day. And if you want to figure out how to spend your time in front of the radio wisely and have the most fun.
So what did you pick for the receiver again? You just left the generic categories at 17 feet and 5 meters?
I didn't change them, yeah.
I gotta jump out of here, guys. Have a good one.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Well,
Okay, got it.
you can play with them, but remember, it is a prediction,
Right,
and maybe you're better off being a little bit more conservative than
absolutely.
optimistic. Yeah.
I just want to check. I have a dipole that's like kind of like acts as a random wire antenna. What's the most appropriate category for something like that?
Are you saying that it's a dipole that you use on multiple bands?
I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's a doublet. I should have said, but I think sort of acts like a dipole.
I would treat it as a dipole. So whatever options there are here for dipole, so you have a dipole with different heights, I would select that.
Okay, thank you.
Rudy, I got a question.
Yeah.
It's David K1MT.
Yep.
I'm looking at the various antenna selections. I don't see a hex beam, which is what I have.
Well,
What
hex beam is a 2-element beam.
yeah, 2-element beam.
So that would be 2-element Yagi.
Yeah, that would be a 2-element Yagi, and you pick what the height is.
And where do you pick the height?
So here, do you see the screen?
Yes, I'm following you right online.
Yeah.
I'm logged in there, by the way. Go ahead.
So at the very end, it says in parentheses the height in feet. So currently what's highlighted is 2-element Yagi at 5 meters, parentheses 17 feet. Do you see it?
Oh, I see. There are different. Okay, I was just looking at the 17-meter one.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine's at 35 feet, so the closest would be 33 feet.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, wait a minute, that's a dipole. Let's see, is there a Yagi?
Yes. So
Yagi 2-element.
2-element at 33 feet.
Scroll down, Dave. Scroll down.
Scroll down. 2-element Yagi.
Look at
10
this.
meters,
Look at
33
the.
feet. I'm just looking 10 meters. Okay, I get it.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's a very simple, very effective program. This is not something that will give you 100% precision, but personally, I find it indispensable for planning my operating strategy. And it really takes away the mysticism behind all the numbers associated with solar and space weather.
Does this program give you the muff and lux as a function of time of day?
It does, and when you click on the different green buttons at the bottom, you get all that information. I'm too lazy, and I feel overwhelmed by that data, because then you actually have to come here. Remember, we only selected one side of the path, which is the center location. If you want to start calculating all this other stuff, you can do it only for one location at a time. That's way too much work for me.
So where do you select for the muff and lux?
So let's start first with the location. Let's pick something random. Let's say we want to do Tunisia. So then you go at the bottom. You will have to play with it, because again, I am too lazy and don't like doing this. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. When you do band by band,
Wait a minute, I didn't see. Where did you select that?
band by band, here at the bottom.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Then you have best frequency. But again, remember, this is point to point. So
I got it. That's exactly what I was looking for.
yeah, if that's how you do your planning, that's great. I don't do my planning this way. I look at the big picture, time versus zone versus band, and that's how I make decisions. Now, this one is useful, QSO window. It will give you the opportunity between 2 points. I forgot what I selected. Oh, I think I selected Tunisia. Honestly, I have no idea how to interpret this. There is a very extensive manual. I will send a link to the manual. It's really worth reading it. But if you focus on the basics, which is the band versus zone versus time of day prediction, in my humble opinion, you get 80% of what you need to build your forecast, to build your operating strategy.
Excellent.
All right. Any last questions? See, here are your moves. When you click here on prop charts, you get them. And remember, for that to be effective, you have to select not only the transmission location, but also the reception location. All right, last call for questions before we go back to Ken. All right, Ken, floor is yours.
All right.